Throughout my childhood, I was relegated to the attic while my sister enjoyed the luxury of the principal bedroom, with my parents labeling me as problematic. Eventually, when they found themselves homeless and entreated me for shelter, I guided them to their new quarters, precisely the same attic, complete with its familiar leaking roof. Throughout my childhood, I was relegated to the attic while my sister enjoyed the luxury of the principal bedroom, with my parents labeling me as problematic. Eventually, when they found themselves homeless and entreated me for shelter, I guided them to their new quarters, precisely the same attic, complete with its familiar leaking roof. I still remember the chill that seeped through the thin walls of that cramped space, the drip, drip, drip of water echoing like an unending metronome, punctuating my solitude with every falling drop. The attic had become both my fortress and my purgatory, a place where the dust of forgotten memories mingled with the lingering scent of damp wood and lost opportunities. In the earliest days of my existence, while my sister basked in the warmth of comfort and favoritism, I was left to wander, the dim corridors of our old house, my footsteps echoing in the emptiness as I clung to the fragments of my identity. I found refuge among stacks of yellowed books and relics of a time when dreams still danced in the light. The attic was my universe, a realm where I could invent friends out of shadows and speak to ghosts who whispered secrets of resilience and hope. I meticulously cataloged each creak of the floorboards, every scratch on the wooden beams, as if these small details were clues to unlocking the mysteries of my own worth. In that isolated space, I discovered that solitude could be both a curse and a catalyst for transformation. Adolescence brought with it the duality of rebellion and resignation. While my sister's laughter filled the halls of the well-appointed rooms of our childhood, I spent long nights scribbling down my miseries and triumphs in a battered journal. I became adept at translating the pain of neglect into elaborate fantasies, stories, where I was not the abandoned child, but a hero destined to rise above the oppressive weight of familial expectations. Every storm that battered the roof, every leak that seeped through the brittle plaster, was a reminder of the impermanence of the world around me. Yet, in that imperfection, I found a peculiar beauty. It was a reminder that nothing in life was flawless, and that the scars of hardship were not marks of failure, but badges of survival. I learned to navigate the labyrinth of broken promises and shattered dreams, all while quietly plotting my escape from the confines of that musty retreat. In secret moments, I would venture down creaking stairs into the heart of the house, listening intently to the echoes of laughter and regret that filled the rooms I was never meant to occupy. I began to understand that my parents' dismissals were less about my own failings and more a reflection of their inability to see beyond their own imperfections. Their voices, laden with both love and disdain, became a twisted lullaby that haunted my nights and propelled me toward a future where I would reclaim my own narrative. I vowed that one day, I would write a story that turned every slight and every whispered word of rejection into a testament of perseverance. Years passed, and the attic transformed from a silent sanctuary into a battleground of memories. I ventured out into the world, searching for meaning in places that promised freedom from the confines of my past. I found solace in fleeting relationships and in the vibrant chaos of urban life. Yet the ghost of that attic followed me like an ever-present shadow. I encountered kind strangers who saw beyond my quiet exterior, mentors who recognized the spark of resilience buried beneath layers of hurt. With every encounter, I pieced together the fragments of my identity, learning that the very qualities I once considered weaknesses, my introspection, my sensitivity, my relentless determination, were in fact the building blocks of an inner strength that could not be denied. Then came the day when life, with its wicked sense of irony, forced me to confront the past head-on. My parents, worn down by their own misfortunes and failures, found themselves homeless, stripped of the dignity and security they once took for granted. Their eyes, once so dismissive of the child I had become, now brimmed with desperation and regret. They approached me not as the infallible figures of my nightmares, but as vulnerable souls seeking refuge. I hesitated only for a moment before leading them back to the attic, a decision that shocked even myself. In that moment, as I unlocked the creaking door to the room that had been both my prison and my sanctuary, I realized that some bonds, however fractured, were inextricable. The irony was not lost on me. The very space where I had grown up feeling unwanted would now serve as a haven for those who had wronged me, as much as it was a testament to the cyclical nature of life. Living together under one leaky roof was far from idyllic. The same cracked beams and persistent drips that had once symbolized my isolation now underscored the fragile unity of our makeshift family. There were bitter arguments fueled by years of unspoken resentment, moments of silent understanding that spoke louder than any apology, and awkward reconciliations born out of necessity rather than genuine forgiveness. I watched my parents struggle to adapt to a world that had left them behind, their pride battling with the harsh reality of their new existence. And yet, in their struggle, I saw echoes of my own journey, a testament to the human spirit's capacity to endure even the most insurmountable odds. The attic became a crucible for transformation. I took it upon myself to mend the broken roof, patching up leaks with scraps of wood and determination, a metaphor for the repair of our fractured family ties. Each repaired board was a small victory, a sign that even the most battered structures could be rebuilt with enough time and effort. My parents, once dismissive and distant, slowly began to contribute in their own clumsy ways. They shared stories of their youth, tales of mistakes made and lessons learned, their voices soft and tentative as if testing the waters of redemption. In the dim light of that cramped space, we found ourselves unearthing buried emotions, confronting demons that had haunted us all for years. I started to see the beauty in our shared vulnerability. The attic, with its peeling paint and persistent leaks, became a symbol of our imperfect humanity. It was a place where we could acknowledge our failures without judgment, where the past was not erased but integrated into a tapestry of survival and growth. I discovered that forgiveness was not a gift I bestowed upon them out of pity, but a necessity for my own liberation. It was a way to break free from the chains of resentment and to embrace a future defined not by the scars of old wounds but by the possibility of renewal. In guiding my parents to that familiar space, I reclaimed control over a narrative that had once been dominated by despair, turning it instead into a story of unexpected reunion and resilience. As the seasons changed outside the fragile walls of our attic, so too did the dynamics within. I began to write down our experiences, not as a chronicle of sorrow, but as an epic of survival, complete with dark humor and bittersweet revelations. I posted excerpts of our story on forums and online communities where strangers resonated with the raw honesty of our struggle. The response was overwhelming. Messages of empathy, shared anecdotes of similar hardships, and even offers of practical advice on how to repair more than just leaky roofs. In the digital glow of late-night confessions, I realized that our tale, as unconventional as it was, held a universal truth, that even in the midst of abandonment and neglect, there can be found a spark of redemption and the potential for a second chance. Now, years later, I look back on that tumultuous period with a mix of nostalgia and a sober understanding of life's ironic twists. The attic, once a symbol of my isolation, has evolved into a sacred space, a repository of memories, lessons, and the indomitable will to survive. I have come to accept that family is a complicated tapestry woven from threads of love, pain, regret, and ultimately, forgiveness. The journey from being the unwanted child to the reluctant caretaker of my own history was neither linear nor painless, but it taught me that the path to healing is often paved with the very experiences we wish to forget. In the quiet moments, before dawn, when the world outside is still and the only sound is the gentle patter of rain against a roof I've long repaired, I allow myself to marvel at the resilience of the human spirit. I know that the scars I bear are not marks of defeat, but emblems of battles fought and lessons learned. The attic remains a part of me, a silent witness to every tear shed, every moment of defiance, and every step toward embracing the imperfect beauty of life. It stands as a reminder that even in the bleakest of circumstances, there is always a chance to rewrite the story, to find hope in the unlikeliest of places, and to transform pain into a testament of survival. And so, as I continue to navigate the complexities of family, memory, and redemption, I carry with me the bittersweet knowledge that sometimes the only way to truly heal is to return to the very place where it all began, and to find strength in the familiarity of brokenness.